Hi, this is Pradeep. In today's discussion, I will explain what is the difference between distribution and assessment cycle. So as you know that both are part of your allocation process, which is your month-end activities when we are doing some cost allocation. But what is the difference? The difference between your distribution method and your assessment method, right? So distribution and assessment. One difference you can say, like in distribution, we are using primary cost elements for allocation, whereas in assessment, we are using secondary cost element. That is very common answer participant used to give. But what is that? Why it is like why there are two different allocation process are there? So basically, when overheads or your indirect expenditure cannot allocate directly to the particular cost center or to the particular product, then we need to distribute this cost or we need to allocate this cost or this expenditure based on maybe activity, based on maybe statistical key figure. So with on some base, we need to allocate this cost. So this is your distribution method. So all the overheads are first we are going to distribute to the relevant cost centers, which is known as your primary distribution. So in this we have two methods are there. So one is your one method is your distribution method. Another one is your period end distribution method. So two methods we have there. So one is your primary period end in both case we are using primary cost element. So that is common. So right now I'm talking about the distribution method. That means here we are going to use primary cost elements. So in our allocation, we are going to use primary cost element. That means your sender cost center and your receiver cost center. If I'm taking here example of cost center, because I'm talking about the distribution method. So the sender cost center and the receiver cost center, in both case, we are using primary cost elements. So cost will be transferred with primary cost element, and here also it will be reported with primary cost element. Okay, so we will take practical example to understand this one. Whereas when you will go for assessment, when you will go for assessment allocation, so in that case the cost sender cost center, so in sender cost center maybe we are using primary cost element. Okay, so right now the cost is recorded with primary cost element, but when we will allocate, so in the receiver cost centers or one cost center or multiple cost center, here you will find the secondary cost element. That is the basic first difference. So here we are using category 1, here it is category 42. That means secondary cost element. Which method we are going to use in the allocation process? Both we are using. Both your primary cost element and secondary cost element we are using. If we can directly identify the cost, direct determination cost is possible. So in that case, we will go for distribution method by using primary cost element. If direct determination cost is not possible, then we will go for assessment method or secondary cost element. Sometimes the overhead expenditure, we have to allocate more than one time. That initially I recorded the cost with a cost center, then I transferred to another cost center by using the primary cost element. And in this process, you may use here distribution method or period end distribution because both are on same categories, only business transactions will be different. Now from this cost center, we are going to transfer to another cost centers. So basically these are, let's say, production cost center, which are linked with your or which are integrated with your PP. Now when we will do the second phase of allocation, okay, as I said, overhead expenditure, once again we are going to do the distributions to the remaining cost centers. Then in this case, we are going to use secondary cost elements. So in real time, this is how we are allocating the cost. So first we are going to allocate the cost with using distribution method. Primary cost elements are used, we are using. Second time we are going to use secondary cost elements, and this will be there in your cost of production calculations. Okay, example, if we will take, so I will One practical example we will take here to understand this process so that it will be easy for you to understand this concept. Let's say to simplify the FI posting, initially we are going to record all our cost with a default cost center so that when the finance users are going to post the transaction, so they will not think like how much cost they have to record. So that is why I'm going to record all this cost with a default cost center. So let's say we are going to create one cost center as allocation cost center or default cost center. Here we are going to record all our cost. So I'm going to include here the cost like salary cost, rent, and some sales promotional expenditure. As and when the cost will be recorded. Now this salary, rent, sales, it is not a particular department in general. So let's say this month we have recorded the total cost 10,000, rent we have recorded 4,000, and this one we have recorded 1,000, and it is for a particular month, for a particular period you can take. So total cost is 15,000. Now this 15,000 cost we are going to transfer to multiple cost center, and one of example we will take. So we have to transfer some cost to one cost center. In our example, I will take this one as marketing expense. So this will be our marketing expenditure. Sorry, not marketing expense. It is marketing department. Marketing department, which is our cost center. How much cost I will transfer here? Out of the total cost for this organization, whatever we have recorded, let's take a simple example so that you will get the concept. 40% cost I will transfer to the marketing cost center. So this is one cost center. So 40% cost I will transfer here from salary. So that means this will be your 40% means 4,000. I will transfer here, let's say 20%. So this will be 800. And total 100% cost I will transfer to this marketing department. So that is 1,000. So total 1,000, this much cost we are going to transfer. So initially I recorded this cost with our cost center, that is our default cost center, which we are saying that in our example as your allocation cost center. Okay, this is a default cost center so that whenever we are going to post a FB50 or user is going to post FB50, so all cost by default we are going to record with this particular allocation cost center. So here user is not going to think how much cost they are going to post in which cost center. To make the FI entry simple, initially all the cost we will take as default cost center, allocation cost center. Then out of this allocation cost center, we are going to transfer to different cost centers in month end, which will be done by the CO users. This will be done by the FI users. And in my example, I have taken one cost center, that is your marketing cost center. So this much cost we are going to transfer to marketing cost center. Now your marketing cost center, when in month end, so in month end, your total cost related to marketing cost center after doing the first phase of allocation, where we are going to use the distribution method. So by using distribution method and by using primary cost element, that means when you will check your marketing department, there exactly will find the salary, rent, and sales expenditure, but not the full value, because this cost 60% maybe we will transfer to some other cost center, or we will see 10% some other cost center, 20% some other cost center will be there. So only 40% of cost from your allocation cost center we will transfer to your marketing cost center towards salary. Similarly, 20% we will transfer towards rent. So after the first phase of allocation on month end, this will be 5,800. But if we are going to keep this cost here, this marketing cost center 5,800, it will not solve our purpose. So now this cost I will transfer to two production cost centers on the basis of some criteria. So once this allocation will be completed, then we will go for second phase of allocation, and this will be your secondary cost element. Here we are going to use assess method. Here we are going to use the distribution method. So phase by phase we will understand. So I'm going to post, I already have this configuration and I have created this cost center. So I have created this cost center. This one I created, these GL accounts I have, these cost centers also I have. So first step, I'm going to post a transaction by using a B50 where as an user, I'm just going to take these cost GL accounts and all cost you will find for, I'm taking the example, this is my November 2022 and I'm following here April to March reporting, that is your V3, and as per that my current period is 8th posting period. So initially as and when I will record the cost, so that will be my posting date, and this is nothing but your business transaction coin, which is normally which we are posting the cost from finance to controlling. Okay, so let's first phase of allocation, first phase of posting we will see. After that we will check the cost center report, case B1, this cost center, allocation cost center. So the total cost 15,000 we will record with this allocation cost center, and if we'll check this cost center, the value will be 0. Once we will allocate this cost, then this 15,000, out of this 15,000, only 5,800 we will transfer to this cost center. So phase by phase, we will understand this one. So let me post a voucher as my recording of cost. Let me show you the cost elements. So for the recording of cost, I'm going to take here the cost elements. So one I will take as salary, so which is 3005 in our example. Then I will take rent. So we are discussing the question, interview question, what is the difference between assessment cycle, distribution cycle, and assessment cycle? Why there are two different cycles are there? So by taking one practical example, we are discussing this one. So in this example, 3005, one cost I'm going to take. One I will take as rent, 3006. And one I will take sales promotional if I have. Yeah, let's take this one, 3007. Okay, so I'm going to post the normal FB50 entry. So I'm taking today's date, but it's normally, it will not one voucher, as and when the cost will be incurred, that will be recorded here. Now I'm doing the posting and I don't know what the consultant configured here and how much cost where it will be. I'm treating myself as end user and I don't know how much cost where I need to record. Simply I will just post the finance entry and it will be there in the respective place. Okay, so I'm getting one small error that current posting period is not open. Let me quickly do that. Just allow me 1 minute. So this period is not open. Some more seconds, I will fix this issue. Then one credit entry, offsetting entry, your bank payable. So I'm taking the first account as credit entry. right? So my finance document posted. I don't know like in which cost center how much cost is recorded. I can just see my finance document and I can see this finance document is posted with our current period. The posting period is 8, which is nothing but November. In my case, I'm using April to March reporting. Okay, and all this cost is recorded somewhere. Costing point of view, we know that we have recorded all this cost with our allocation cost center. So all this 15,000 cost is recorded with your allocation cost center. Now I am the CO user and I will check that which cost center is actually it's reported or not. Or this data is important for finance point of view, but use the CO point of view, we will check the cost center report. I know where it was recorded. If you want to see, let's see here. So check the cost center. So what is the cost center? A1006. So this is my default cost center, and this is your allocation cost center. So here I recorded all my cost. Okay, so this is the same voucher only. If I will change, because my controlling area currency is USD, my document I posted in INR. Let me change the currency so that it will be easy for you. So 125 USD 50, right? So it is updated. Now this is normal posting. So here it is business transaction coin. As and when cost recorded, this cost is recorded. So this is the first step of your activity, which is nothing but your FI posting done. So I have recorded this cost with this allocation cost center. In our example, the allocation cost center is A1006. Okay, so I hope it is clear up to this. So I just post a voucher entry and total cost is recorded. Then in month end, as a CO user, I'm going to transfer this much value of cost. This value cost I will transfer. So for this, again, configuration is required. I'm just explaining the business process. Now I'm going to go for the month end allocation, and then we will transfer this cost to our marketing department. Right now, if you'll check your marketing department total cost, you will find that it is 0 because we have not allocated any cost for this month of November to our marketing department. Do you have anything? No. So that means cost is not yet allocated. So I'm going to do the first phase of allocation, that is our allocation of this cost to marketing. So here, what will be the sender? The sender will be, in our example, the sender will be A1006. And cost elements, we are using all primary cost elements. So in our example, 3005, 3006, 3007. And how much cost we are sending here? Not 100%, not 15,000. Out of 15,000, as per our allocation, as I said, we are not going to transfer everything. So I did already the configuration. Out of this, right now it is recorded as 125. Okay, but out of that, we are going to allocate only 40%. Here I'm going to allocate only 20%. Here I'm going to transfer 100%. Okay, so this much cost where I will transfer. So this will be my sender, and where I will transfer, I will transfer to the marketing department. So I will transfer to the marketing department, which is S2003. So the receiver will be S2003, and this will be after this allocation, all this total cost, as per our example, it is 5,800. So after this allocation, first phase of allocation, it will be 5,800. And by using, these are all primary cost element. This is important. So we are using primary cost element. That means after allocation, when you will check this cost center, you will find exactly the same cost element, salary, rent, marketing expenditure in this cost center. And how much cost we are going to allocate? Only 5,800. Remaining, again with different allocation process, we will send to different cost centers. Okay, so let's do that. So I'm using here period in distribution, and as you know, the period in distribution transaction code case W5. Let me show you the navigation for the same. For this, required configuration is already there. So I will go for the month end allocation, period and closing by using periodic reposting. You may use here the distribution method also. Both are same. It depends on what right now this one I'm using. You may use here the distribution method also. The business transaction for this one is RKIB in your configuration. And if you are using this one, then this will be your RKIV. Almost same configuration. It is required. Only business transaction will be different. And in both cases, we are using primary cost elements. Select your allocation cycle. Okay, now execute. Oh, sorry, I need to execute it. So I'm executing. It's already created. So I'm just executing. That is 8 is my current month. That is November. Let's go for test run. So here you can see 3 senders are there. Means let me show you more details on this. So here I have created 3 segments, segment 1, 2, segment 3. And here I'm transferring some cost. Sender is 1. In one sender, I have included here one receiver. That means my sender is my default cost center, which is in our case, something I have noted. This one, this will be my sender cost center, which is A1006. And receiver will be also one that will be my S2003. So we are transferring the cost to the marketing department, which is in our example S2003. So let's go for the execution. Again, this periods are, it's a old company code I'm using. Just give me 1 minute. Let me fix it. Remove test run, execute. Done without any error. Now, earlier there was no cost. Now some cost is recorded, not 100%, not 100% here, because as I said, everything we are not going to transfer to the marketing department, something we need to transfer to other cost centers. But in my example, out of this 18750, I'm transferring here only 72.50, and its corresponding minus entries you will find here. You can see some minus entries are there. Let me add the business transaction and the posting date. Okay, so all these coin business transactions are your direct posting. So when I have posted the direct entries, that is on this one. This is your direct posting, coin business transaction. And this one is your month-end activities, RKIB. That is the business transaction I'm using. Out of this, some cost I transferred, but still you can see some debit balance is there because initially we have recorded the cost $172. Out of that, we transferred some cost because Everything I have now transferred to the cost center allocation cost centers. So I hope the first phase of allocations completed. So the corresponding minus entries, because this is your sender cost center, so that is why the minus entries are there, and the corresponding plus entries you will find in your production cost center. Just check one figure. So minus entry here, that is salary, and the corresponding plus entry, this one. If I will add here the business transaction, it will be easy for you to recognize this entry. RKIB. So here directly we have not posted anything. Fine. And as you know, when we did this allocations, when initially it is S4 specific feature, when you are posting any direct cost, so there is only finance document is there. There is no separate CO document. Whereas when you are doing the allocation, there is internal CO documents generated. So this is my internal CO document and document number 1202. And definitely this document as a part of FICO reconciliation, again, that is a different concept. I don't want to include that here. Already I have videos on that. So you can correlate those things. So this document 1202 generated your finance document as a part of reconciliation. Let's verify that too. Just we will verify the document AB03. I don't know the document number. Let's search it. This is the document, posting date 30th. Okay, so here you can see exactly the same document. So this document is my source document 1202, and this document generated the finance document as a part of FICO reconciliation. So you can see here the minus 50, what is the sender cost center? A1006. Same here also. And there is a plus 50 S2003. S203. So the cost transfer. And how can I will confirm that this is the derived document for the source document 1202. So original document is 1202. Okay. And these documents you will find in your universal journal or in AC docket table, just for your reference. Now the total cost I transferred to our cost center. Which cost center? That is our cost center S2003, that is our allocation cost center, this one, 5,800. So 4,000 transfer, 800 transfer, and 1,000 transfer. Check once. So only the plus entries, 4,000 transfer, 800 transfer, and the 1,000 is also transfer. Ignore the profit center, as profit center is linked, so that is why it is there. But we are focusing right now on cost center. So first phase of allocation completed. That means we have completed the distribution method, and in this distribution method, we have used the primary cost element. That is very, very important. Okay, initially how I recorded this cost. So initially I have recorded the cost with salary, rent, sales, promotional. Now also I have recorded the cost with the same cost and same cost elements. It's primary cost element with category 01. That means up to this, the direct determination cost is possible. Now we will go for the second phase of cost. This production cost center, marketing cost center is not part of your, this is overhead, indirect expenditure. So to calculate the cost of goods sold, this value I need to transfer to my production cost centers by using secondary cost element, because that time we are not bothered about salary, rent, and this expenditure. Simply I will take this cost as marketing expenditure because it is marketing department cost. So this is our marketing department cost. We will take this one into secondary cost element. Okay. And let's go for the second. If right now, let me close this one anyway, it is not required now. Now, what is the total cost right now for our production cost centers? So I'm taking here production for this month. What is the total cost for production cost center? 0, because I have not allocated any cost yet. Now I'm going to run the assessment cycle. And by using the assessment cycle, I will allocate the cost. Now, what will be the sender? The sender will be in the second phase. The sender will be your marketing department. This will be your sender. And what will be our receiver? So receiver will be, two receivers are there here. One is your production and one is your packing. What are the cost elements we have? And what, when we will post the transaction, how we are going to allocate the cost, or in which form we are going to use secondary cost element with category 42. So that will be our marketing expense. How much cost? 100%. Last time, partial amount we transferred to production cost, to allocation marketing cost center, but here 100% cost I will transfer. That means total 5,800 is there. So this 5,800 we will transfer to our production cost center and packing cost center on the basis of some criteria. So here again, as per configuration, we are going to transfer the cost. So I'm going to transfer this salary on the basis of some criteria, and I'm taking here this allocate. I will allocate on the basis of number of workers. Okay, so on the basis of number of workers, I'm going to allocate this cost. Rent, I'm going to allocate on the basis of area occupancy. So that's why I said that on the basis of some base, we are going to allocate this cost, and this one on the basis of some base I'm going to allocate. But after this allocation, you will find this cost center will be zero and cost will be transferred to our production cost center. Then it's over. Then this 5,800 will be part of our cost of goods sold. Okay, so let's go for the second phase of allocation, which we are using secondary cost by using secondary cost element, and this is your assessment cycle. This is our total cost right now before allocation, and this will be the sender cost center S2003. And right now there is no cost with our production cost center for this month, and I'm going for the second phase of allocation. Case U5, and through navigation it is. Again, this is also period end activities. Okay, by selecting the assessment cycle. So here I will take this assessment cycle, marketing allocation, check. Again, here also I have created some segments. 3 segments are there, segment 1, 2, 3, and in each segment some cost components are there. But important here is how we are going to report this cost, or how we are going to allocate this cost. 4509. So 4509 is my secondary cost element. Okay, now you can identify your cost element. Last time we recorded the cost with cost element categories 3005 and 6, 7. 6, 5, 6, 7, all are your cost element categories. 1 means posting of cost by using primary cost element, and allocation of cost primary cost element. The first phase of allocation, what I did. And because of that, right now it is recorded. So these are your 3, 5, 0, 0, 5, 6, 7. These are your primary cost element. But now when I'm going to do the allocation, so this allocation, I'm using 4509, which is my secondary cost element. 34509, this one, 42 category, which is your secondary cost element. So this is your assessment cycle. So after this allocation, you will find this cost is 0. This cost center is 0. It's 0. And how we allocated this cost? In the form of secondary cost element. Initially, it was primary cost element. This is also allocation. You can see these are allocation. Let me add the date. Posting date. Okay, so both activities are month end we are doing, but one is your allocation, no, up to this one. This is your distribution method. Allocation by using distribution method or primary cost element. This one is your secondary cost element or assessment allocation by using secondary cost element. Check this one. So in a cost of production calculation or in cost of goods sold, we are going to take as marketing expense category 42. So there we don't know what is salary rent and all, just total cost we are going to use as marketing expenditure. Now if I will check my production cost center, there you will find earlier there was no value there. So some cost we transfer to my production cost center, one which is my production cost center and packing cost center. This is your secondary cost element. So I hope this concept is clear now. What is the difference between the distribution method and assessment method, or the use of primary cost elements and secondary cost element? So next time when you will face the interview, you maybe use this scenario, which is the best example. And in reality or in business, this type of multiple business scenarios we are doing for this cost allocation. And practically we are doing these are the use of primary cost element and secondary cost element. Thank you.